Hello and thank you for watching my video. My name is Astrid Krasniqi. I'm a certified Cisco CCNA and CCNP trainer. Now we're moving on to section 11.2, keeping up the network safe. If you have not covered this or if you're not doing on the order, we have covered section 11.1 of chapter It's a Network. Now section 11.2, threats to network security. Whether wired or wireless computer networks are essential to everyday activities. Intrusion by an unauthorized person can result in costly network outages and loss of work. Attacks to a network can be devastating and can result in a loss of time and money due to damage or theft of important information or assets. Intruders can gain access to a network through software vulnerabilities, hardware attacks, or through guessing someone's username and password. Intruders who gain access by modifying software or exploiting software vulnerabilities are often called hackers. After the hacker gains access to the network, 4 types of threats may arise. First, information theft. Then, identity theft, data loss manipulation, or disruption of services. So, we do physical security. When you think of a network security or even computer security, you might imagine an attacker exploiting software vulnerabilities. An equally important vulnerability is the physical security of devices. An attacker can deny the use of a network resources if those resources can be physically compromised. The 4 classes of physical threats are hardware threat, physical damage to server, routers, switches, cabling, plant, and workstation. So hardware threat. A person just throwing a glass of water on your router, that's it, breaks your router. Environmental threats, temperatures extreme, too hot or too cold, or humidity extremes, too wet or too dry. Electrical threats, voltage spikes, insufficient supply voltage, brownouts, unconditioned power, noise, and total power loss. And then we have maintenance threats, poor handling of key electrical components, electrostatic discharge, lack of critical spare parts, and poor cabling. Type of security vulnerabilities. There are 3 network security factors of vulnerability, threats, and attack. Vulnerability is the degree of weakness which is inherent in every network and device. This includes routers, switches, desktop servers, and even security devices. Threats includes the people interested and qualified in taking advantage of each security weakness. Such individuals can be expected to continually search for new exploit and weakness. Typically, the network devices under attack are the endpoints, such as servers and desktop computers. Viruses, worms, and Trojan horses. Viruses. A computer virus is a type of malware that propagates by inserting a copy of itself into becoming part of another program. Viruses can range in severity from causing mildly annoying effects to damaging data or software and causing denial of services conditions. Almost all viruses are attached to an executable file, which means the virus might exist on a system, but it will not be active or able to spread until its user runs or opens the malicious host file or program. Worms. Computer worms are similar to viruses in that they replicate functional copies of themselves and can cause the same type of damage. In contrast to virus, which requires the spreading of an infected host file, worms are standalone software and do not require a host program or human help to propagate. The third one is Trojan horses. A Trojan horse is another type of malware named after the wooden horse the Greeks used to infiltrate Troy. It is a harmful piece of software that looks legitimate. Trojan horses are also known to create a backdoor to give malicious user access to the system. When you think of Trojan horses, like, okay, well, if you go and download maybe the latest, game on the internet, most likely they added a Trojan horse there as well to infect your computer. So you download the game, you install the game, works perfectly, you think, okay, great, I got a game. But at the same time, the attacker has left a backdoor open for them to access your computer. So don't download anything illegal from the internet. Reconnaissance attack. Network attack can be classified into 3 major categories. First is reconnaissance attack, the unauthorized discovering and mapping of systems, services, or vulnerabilities. Access attack, the unauthorized manipulation of data, system access or user privileges. And then the third one is denial of service, the disabling or corruption of network system or services. Reconnaissance attack. External attackers can use internet tools such as NSLookup and Whois utilities to easily determine the IP address space assigned to a given corporation or entity. After the IP address space is determined, an attacker can then ping the publicly available IP addresses to identify the addresses that are active. To help automate this step, an attacker might use a ping sweep tool, such as fping or gping, which systematically pings all network addresses in a given range or subnet. Second one was access attack. Access attack exploits known vulnerabilities in authentication services, FTP services, and web services to gain entry to a web account, confidential database, and other sensitive information. An access attack allows an individual to gain unauthorized access. Access attack can be classified into 4 types: password attack, where you try different kind of passwords, trust exploitation, port redirection, and man in the middle. One of the most common types of access attacks is the password attack. These repeated attempts are called dictionary attacks or brute force attacks. Denial of service attacks, DOS. First one is we have different denial of service attacks. And this one, we're trying to do make a system, a server, unresponsive to legitimate traffic. First type of denial of service attack is ping of death. It's denial of service attack caused by an attacker deliberately sending an IP packet larger than 65,536 bytes allowed by the IP protocol. The second one is SYN flood. It's a form of denial of service attack in which the attacker sends a succession of SYN requests to the target system in an attempt to consume enough server resources to make the system unresponsive to legitimate traffic. The third one is distributed denial of service, most scariest one. DDoS is a type of DOS attack where multiple compromised systems, which are often infected with a Trojan, are used to target a single system, causing a denial of service attack, DOS attack. The last one is Smurf attack. A Smurf attack is an exploitation of the Internet Protocol broadcast addressing to create a denial of service. Backup, upgrade, update, and patch. Antivirus software can detect most viruses and many Trojan horse applications and prevent them from spreading in the network. Keeping up to date with the latest development in those sorts of attacks can also lead to more effective defense against these attacks. As new virus or Trojan applications are released, enterprises need to keep current with the latest version of antivirus software as well. Authentication, Authorization, and Accounting, or AAA. Authentication, users and administrators must prove their identity. Authentication can be established using username and password combination, challenge and response questions, token cards, and other methods. Authorization. After we authenticate, then we authorize them. We should determine which resources the user can access and the operation that the user is allowed to perform. And then while they've gone through authentication, they authorize to use this computer, and then we do accounting. What did they do to that computer? So for example, it records what the user accessed, the amount of time the resource is accessed, and any changes made. Firewall. Firewall products use various techniques for determining what is permitted or denied to access a network. These techniques are: first, we have packet filtering, prevents or allows access based on IP and MAC addresses. Application filtering prevents or allows access by a specific application type based on the port numbers. Or we have a URL filter, prevents or allows access to website based on a specific URL or keywords. The last one is the most used one, stateful packet inspection. Incoming packets from outside must be legitimate response to requests from the internal host. So all the packets that come from outside, they need to be initiated or started from the internal host. Unsolicited packets are blocked unless permitted specifically. So anything that comes from outside but hasn't started from inside your network is going to be blocked. SPI can also include the capability to recognize and filter out specific type of attacks, such as denial of service. Okay, on this demonstration, I will show you how to configure SSH, and then we see on the Wireshark how you see it on Telnet. You can see everything on the clear text, while on SSH, everything is encrypted. Okay, for this exercise, I'm going to use the same exercise, same network that we had for section 10.1. sorry, 11.1. So if I could just quit this Wireshark, this is the network that we were using. Hold on one second. This is the network that we were using. We have router 1. That's the IP address of router 1. How did we set this up? You can go back to section 11.1 and have a look. I did it from the start. So we're going to configure this router, right? The configuration, I'm going to do it in Notepad so we can see it. Okay. Let me just increase the fonts a little bit. Okay. Enable. I'll write small letter enable. Configure terminal. I haven't done the startup configuration, so I'll do that as a startup configuration. So the startup configuration, enable secret class, no IP domain lookup. If you don't know what these commands mean, again, you have to go back to chapter 2 and watch that video. I'll explain everything, all the commands. No IP domain lookup. What else? Hostname R1. Then service password encryption, and the banner MOTD authorized users. Okay, I have to finish the banner with the same character that I opened it, and I go to line. So line console 0 password Cisco login sync and exec timeout 00, and then line VTY for remote connection password Cisco login. Okay, so I highlight all of this and I right click, copy, and I go to my secure CRT and paste it there. Okay, now you have to make sure that these commands, the way it says invalid input detected at the marker, you pay attention to them. Yeah. So why has this error been? Well, this error been because I type configure terminal. And actually I am in the configure terminal, so the router is trying to say, okay, well, there's error there. But everything else, it seems fine, no problem. So what we're going to do for to enable SSH, like this, we are using telnet only, login. So to enable the SSH, I will go and first, the requirement are that you have a host name, but which we did, R1. Then you have a domain name, so IP domain name, say cisco.local, right? And crypto key, you generate the keys, the certificates. Crypto key generate RSA. Okay, let me just copy these 3 commands and then paste them. So highlight all of them, right click, copy, and paste them. Okay, it's going to ask you, do you want 512-bit, or you can go anything. This is a range from 360 to 4096. Higher, more the keys you're going to use, more better encryption, but it's going to require more resources to decrypt. So 512 is fine. Right, okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, we have already created some small database, but let's just go through it again so you can see it. Username, I'm creating a database. Username, student 1, password CCNA1. Okay, and then I'll create another one. So I'll say username 2, 2 password CCNA2. Right. The last thing I want to do is go to the VTY. So line VTY 0 to 4, login local, right, which says, okay, use these username and passwords when somebody is trying to log in through remote connection. And then what I'm going to do is tell that I'm going to expect a SSH, so transport input. Okay, you can have SSH, or I can have, I'll allow both telnet and SSH. Now this is just for practice, but you really want just SSH. You want to remove this telnet, right? So you just have SSH. So you don't allow anyone to connect only with the telnet. But for this practice, I'm going to use both of them. So highlight those commands, right click, copy, and paste in. Okay, so now I'm gonna start a session with telnet from PCA, and we're gonna go to the Wireshark and have a look at it's clear text and everything. And then I'm gonna start a session with SSH as well. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop the Wireshark because I think it's still running. Yep, stop the capture. Okay, so I'm gonna start a new Wireshark capture. And I'm gonna use R1 port. Excellent. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to PCA and telnet, right? So I'm gonna open PuTTY, for example, here, and use telnet. Go 192.168.168.12.1. Okay, I got username student 1, and password CCNA1. Okay, I'm in the router, so enable. The password here is class, and show IP interface. I'm just running some commands. A brief. Right. Okay. Great. Now show run. I'm gonna doing the show running configuration on the router. Okay. Now imagine there was a man in the middle there, yeah, and is reading our conversation. So I'm gonna right click on the telnet here from PC from router to PC and from PC to the router. So imagine this is from the router to PC. Doesn't matter, any telnet session here. You can right click and say follow the stream, follow TCP stream. And here we'll show you everything that was happening in our conversation between the PC and the router, right? Oh, let me just increase this. Okay, so I did telnet, and it gave me the message, authorized users only. Then the username, I tap student. It's like echo, you see S, then T, and then the echo again, S. But it will say exactly the same that I typed. And then you can see my password. CCNA1 what I typed. I typed enable, so every time you type something, the echo comes back on the screen. Then you see when I typed enable, I had to type class to go in. That's my privilege mode password. Then I type show IP interface brief. This is what I got. So as you can see, everything is on clear text. Everything. I can see all the passwords. Well, this one, the secret is not there. It's not on the clear text because it's encrypted anyway. And my passwords I did encrypt them with a service password encryption, so you can't see it. But everything is on the clear text. And these passwords they are encrypted. It's very weak encryption. You can decrypt this on the internet for like a few seconds. So now I'm gonna stop this internet. Stop the Wireshark, and we're gonna do through SSH. So we're gonna see it. Okay, I'm gonna exit here. So exit. Right, from same PC, because PCB I can see that it's gone to pause mode. So I'll go open a new Wireshark. So right click, stop this, start a new one. But this time I'm going to connect through SSH, no telnet. So we'll see. So I open the PCA again, open PuTTY, and SSH is automatically selected, so I can put 192.168.12.1, and it's going to ask me, okay, the router is giving me a certificate, but it's not really, I can't trust it because it's a private created certificate. Do you want to trust it? Yes, I do. And log in as a student 1, and the password was CCNA1. Okay, I got authorized users only, R1, I type enable there. Enable. Okay, password class. Show IP interface brief. Okay, show IP interface brief. I'm running the command same as I did run in the telnet. So show run. Okay. Right. Now I'm gonna go back to my Wireshark here and see now I'm gonna stop this caption. Now it's not telnet. No, it is not. It's SSH. Yeah. So SSH. So I can right click and follow the TCP stream, and as you can see, everything, all the conversation, all the messages are encrypted. So there's nothing on the clear text. Everything is encrypted. So for that reason, we do want to use SSH rather than telnet. Okay, this has been a demonstration showing you how to enable SSH on your router. These are the commands that we did run. So if you can see, we have to make sure that the host name is not router. You actually have to configure a host name. Create a domain name. I created just a local domain. This doesn't exist. Generate the keys, RSA keys. Create the user local database, and then make sure the VTY lines you say login local. So we're using local login, and then transport input has to be SSH. Okay, on this demonstration I'll show you how to configure basic security practices and additional password security. Okay, for this demonstration I'll show you again on the same network that we've been using, GNS3. We have one router and two PCs. In this router we've been capturing some stuff, so for the other demonstrations I'll stop that capture and I will reload the router. So we start with brand new because we have some configuration already configured there, so from the other exercises. So I will just right click and say reload. Okay, we'll start a fresh router, some of the configuration there. We had this Wireshark from before, so let me just close that before as well. Right. Now some of the configuration here that we have to configure is a basic startup configuration, but some advanced security features we'll see here as well. From the other demonstration we saw the connecting to a router through telnet. It's not secure because we could see everything on the clear text, all our passwords, everything was showing up. And we saw the connection towards the router with SSH, and with SSH we saw that everything was encrypted. We couldn't see any of our passwords. Okay, to do the startup configuration, as soon as this router starts up. Okay, now the router has booted up properly, so there's no configuration here. So I can do show running config to see if there's any configuration. There's nothing in here at all. Shouldn't be anything in here. Okay. Right, so here is the configuration. It's already about the line console. It's already there, but we configure it anyway again. So config T to go to the global configuration mode. Here you would do hostname, but already got hostname R1. So hostname R1, and I'll be given an IP address so we can communicate with our PC. So interface FA00. Given IP address 192.168.12.1 and /24 the mask, and I'm going to do no shutdown, so we can bring that interface up. Let me see if I can communicate with our PC. So ping 192.168.12.100. Yep, talking to the PC A. PCB.200. Yep, talking to PCB as well. Right, the first configuration is startup configuration. So config T. Here we do no IP domain lookup. Enable password secret class. So here, when somebody types enable, we want them to be challenged with this secret class. So when they move on from the user mode, say they are in user mode like this, and they type enable, they should know this password class, otherwise they won't be able to go in. So enable sorry, there we have a password, say class. Okay, then if I go back to global configuration mode, we can say the minimum length for our passwords, how many digits we have to type for our password, or how many characters. Now here you can see there's only 5, so really that's weak. So you have to have at least minimum length 8, for example, for all our passwords. Now this password we don't need to encrypt it because it's already encrypted with MD5 encryption. So we type security minimum password minimum length should be 8. So now when I type for example enable secret, say class again, it's going to give me error. It says invalid password length, must contain 8 to 25 characters, password configuration failed. So now it wants 8. If we do this command and we already have passwords that are less than 8, it doesn't mean that those passwords are going to be removed. But the future passwords, they're going to have it needs to be more than 8 characters, 8 and more, so minimum 8. Right, and then the next command I'm going to show you is service password encryption. All the passwords, there are other passwords other than the secret, are in the clear text. So any password, other passwords that we do, for example, say we type user name, I don't know, user 01 password Cisco 01 pass. That's 8 characters. Now this password is going to be in the clear text. So if we want this password to be on the encrypted, we have to write the command service password encryption. Let's just test it anyway. Username user 01 password Cisco pass. So if I do show running config here, this password is going to be in the clear text. Okay, this is our secret. You can see the secret, I didn't do anything, it's already encrypted. That's when somebody taps enable, it's already encrypted. If I scroll down to my username, so when I find the username, you can see the username, user 01 password, this is in clear text, Cisco 01 password. So if I do want this password to be encrypted, so I'll type service password encryption. So this will enable a service password encryption that will encrypt any password that is not being encrypted. It won't touch this one because it's a different type of encryption, but it will encrypt this password. So if I write do show running config again, and I'm going to see that password has been encrypted, Cisco 01 pass. Okay, let's go down a little bit. Yeah, you see there's an encryption. Okay, this encryption that the Cisco uses is just like for somebody not like watching from the back and finding out what's your password, because it's not very strong encryption. It's quite weak encryption. You can decrypt it very easy, but it's still encryption, so you can't just see it on the running configuration. Now I'm going to create another user, so user name user 02, for example. Now I can say password with that weak encryption, or I can give it a strong encryption with saying secret. So I can say secret, and then here I can say user 02 pass. That's our secret for username is user 02. This is a different encryption. So if I do a do show run or do show running configuration, now if I go down to my users, see there's one that says password and the other one says secret. So it's down to you which encryption you want to use. Passwords got weak encryption, and you have to for example encrypt the password by typing this service command, service password encryption. Otherwise it's going to be in clear text anyway. But the secret is encrypted anyway. So you don't have to write anything, it will be encrypted. Okay, now I'm going to enable the connection through remote. So line VTY024. This is if you want somebody to connect remotely for telnet or SSH. We have exec timeout. By default is 10.0, which means that, okay, how many minutes the router is going to log you off if you don't do anything, which is by default is 10 minutes. In 10 minutes, if you've been idle, you didn't touch anything, the router was going to log you out anyway. Now, really recommendation would be 5 minutes. So within 5 minutes, if I don't touch anything, that's it, I'm logged out. Now we type in login. We usually type password, for example, Cisco, for example. Password has to be more than 8 characters. So we say password Cisco 12345 here, and then we say login. What this login does, it says, okay, well, use this password for logging in, right? So okay, so let me go to one of my PCs. Let's select PCB, for example, and telnet to that machine. So open the PuTTY, go to telnet 192.168.168.12.1. Unable to communicate, host does not exist. Really? Okay, let me try again. CMD ping 192.168.12.1. Yep, we can ping that, so we should be able to telnet 192.168.12.1. Okay, so this is the telnet password. He's asking for first one, he's asking for your telnet password. So the password that we used was Cisco 12345, and then enable. Now he's going to ask for the enabled secret password, which was class, and now we are in router 1. We telnet to router 1. Now if I type login local, login local means don't use this password, but use the local database. This is my local database, username 01 or user 02, right? So if I go back to my PCB, for example, and exit from that, now I open again the PuTTY and I telnet again, the same thing what I did just now. So telnet 192.168.12.1. now it's asking me for username. It's not just asking for the password, it's asking, okay, what user wants to connect? User 01. And what's the password for user 01? So user 01 pass, that's a password. Okay, let's try again. User 01 and password user 01 pass. Okay, that's giving me error again. Let's try it. The password was, okay, let's do another one. Username user 03, for example. Password Cisco user 03 pass. Okay, so if I go back to my user PCB, user 03 password user 03 pass. Okay, here we are inside, and now type enable, and this is going to ask for the secret, which is class, and now I'm inside the router. Okay, so now if we say, for example, fine, I go back to line VTY024, we said exec timeout 5 to 0, 5 minutes and 0 seconds, and we said login local. We said use this database, our database, to log in, and transport. We want to say now transport input SSH. This command says, okay, well, I don't want any other input. I don't want to telnet to anyone to connect with the telnet. So if I go again to my PCB and I try again, so let me close this. So exit here and PuTTY again. Open the PuTTY. Try to telnet this time. It should give me error. 192.168.12.1. and it says network error, connection refused. Refused, yeah. So how about if I try to SSH? So open the PuTTY, SSH 192.168.12.1. Oh, SSH is working. So it's giving me like a certificate. It's getting, okay, well, this is a privately generated certificate. Do you want to trust it? Yes, I do want to trust it. And login as, okay, let's try 03. And password for 03 was user 03 pass. There we go. We are inside, but we couldn't not connect through telnet. Show IP interface brief. Yeah, we are inside the router. Everything is working fine. We are in privileged mode. Now I'm going to show you if somebody has attempted to log in with the wrong credentials twice within 30 seconds, we're going to block them for 120 minutes. So login. Okay, first we have to go to the global config mode, config T, login, block for 120 seconds. Attempts. So if they attempt twice within 30 seconds. So we're going to block someone for 120 seconds if they try twice with the wrong credentials within 30 seconds. So show login. Default login delay is 1 second. No quiet mode access list has been configured. We can configure an access list where say, okay, we can block everybody else, but we don't block some PC ever. And root enabled to watch for login attacks. If more than 2 login failures occur in 30 seconds or less, login will be disabled for 120 seconds. So if more than 2 login failures occur in 30 seconds or less, login will be disabled for 120 seconds. Okay, so if I open PCB again, right? So let's try that. I'm gonna try and log in twice with the wrong credentials. So 192.168.12.1. Okay, use first correct credentials. Yeah, let's try it. So password user 03. Let's try it. User 03 pass. Okay, now we're in the router. Great, everything is fine. So exit from that. And now I'm going to try it and enter the wrong username and password twice. So 192.168.12.1. User, let's try user 10. Doesn't exist. User 10 again. Doesn't exist. Wrong password. Okay. Server send a disconnect message rejected by server. Okay, so if you go there, if you say the login 1 quiet mode on, and if you say show login, okay, that was a small demonstration about basic security practices and additional password security.